Hello, everyone.
Hi there.
Hi. Welcome to our launch party.
We're so excited to have you today.
Yes, we're excited to be here. We're actually thrilled, right, Kathryn? So I'm Pat from the Sewing Studio Fabric Superstore in Maitland, Florida. And with me today is
Kathryn from the Sewing Studio at Lady Lake. So grateful you joined us today.
Yeah, so it's very exciting. Kathryn and I just got back from BabyLock Tech. And yes, we saw the fabulous new Radiance. And I went to Brother Tech, so I saw the Aveneer. And it's just, I don't know how to say it. I mean,
Mind-blowing? Mind-blowing
Yes.
would be what I would say.
Yes, I was expecting great, and I saw phenomenal.
We have so much information to share with you guys today.
Yeah, so we have a presentation, and we're going to go through point by point. So we cover everything as well as we can with the information that we have, right, Kathryn? And we have quite a bit of information to share. And then we're going to answer questions, and you have exciting stuff to talk about.
So the main thing we want to start off by saying is that we're doing a live giveaway today. So you have to be watching. You have to watch and stay with us. And what you're going to do is in the comment section down below, you're going to be sure and comment hashtag launch party. Hashtag launch party. All caps, no spaces. Put that in the comment line. And we've got an algorithm on our live. And what it's going to do is whoever's actually watching, the Sewing Studio Fabric Superstore has generously decided to pay for someone's deposit on the Radiance or the Aveneer. Either one of those machines, we're going to have a winner at the end. So be sure and stay tuned.
That's exciting. So we are going to go ahead. Should we go ahead and get started? We're going to jump right in because we have a lot to talk about. And we're going to go through these machines step by step. So let's get started. So we are going to start with, from the ground up, this machine is a brand new machine. This is not the Luminaire or the Vision on steroids. This is a brand new machine.
It's not just new designs and a few new features and maybe a couple of new feet. It's literally a brand new machine, a new species from the skeleton up.
That's a good way of saying it. So it's smarter, right? We like smarter because we always want more, right? And there'll be more to come. So let me stay focused here. It's stronger. We want stronger because we like magnetic hoops. Okay, let me keep going. It's quieter. It's quiet.
So quiet.
Yes, it just hums. You think the Vision and the Luminaire were quiet? I thought they were quiet.
Yeah, this is a whole new level.
Yes, and it's bigger, but it's not. It will still fit. It's still the same weight, right? And we're going to talk about the specs of the machine. But it has more workspace in it. So everything about it is new, and I hope that we can cover everything. We're gonna try. So
be sure and comment with your questions, and if they come up, we'll go over them. Okay?
Yes. So we're gonna go section by section through the machine,
starting with
embroidery. So what does everybody always want? A bigger hoop, right? We all want a bigger hoop. We all want more. We all want to embroider bigger sizes. If you're a quilter, you want a bigger hoop. And they have worked on this hoop so that it is, I want to say, now remember, I did see the hoop, but I haven't used it, but I saw it, and it's perfection to me.
Industry leading hoop. It's the biggest in the industry.
It is.
There's also going to be voice guidance, and we're going to go into some of this in more detail in just a second. But just as a quick overview, it's the hoop is brand new. It's a brand new size, brand new operating way of doing. There's the voice guidance.
The hoop is reinforced, so it's not going to bow anymore. There's also a voice guidance feature, which, yes, you can switch off. We figured at the end that would be one of our questions. You can switch it off if you want. At what point is it going to talk? It's going to help us by talking. Okay.
There's also picture play in embroidery. One of my favorite sections of the machine is the whole creation section of the machine. And now there's a whole new picture play. We're going to show you some of the awesome that entails.
Also, the increased projection size. So that's huge on this machine.
5x8, crazy, crazy big. So it's going to allow you to see and interact right on your fabric and make changes there. And we're going to go into more detail. But in a nutshell, that's some of the
So that's what we're going to talk about in this section. Is the largest hoop size. It's got levers on both ends now. So and it needed a lever on the other end and not just this end. For those of you who have a Solaris or a Luminaire, you know what I'm talking about. So now we're going to be able to hoop better, hoop more expertly. The fabric will stay put. It's a reinforced hoop so that it won't bow. So no worries about, oh my God, it's a bigger hoop. It's not going to work as well. Maybe you think it might bounce. No.
As a matter of fact, now there's going to be an included extension table, support table off the back that will help support that hoop as well. So there's the two levers. They're reinforced on the sides. There's an extension table on the back.
And there's a little ledge that's going to go under.
So as you're putting your hoop in, you'll put your inner ring into the ledge on your outer ring. So it's going to kind of like bracket that inner hoop just for extra stability. It's a tiny little thing you would think that they adjusted, but it's made all the difference in the world.
It's made, yes. Okay, so let's move on.
Let me just say this because we didn't say it out loud with words. That hoop is 11 5/8 by 18 1/4. So it's 11 5/8 by 18 1/4. It is gigantic.
And if you think that you don't need a bigger hoop, we all want a bigger hoop. I used to think that, but oh my God, I always, I like big. Let's go big or go home. Okay, so now let's talk about projection, the increased projection area, and the ability to be able to use a stylus with your projection. So the area that the projection is going to be is 8 inches by 5 inches. On this machine, they've actually moved the projector to another place, right? They've moved it off to the side, so it's going to project down sideways.
And in the back of the needle.
In the back.
So not only is it bigger, but where it's located is giving you not only a larger viewing area, but an easier to see viewing area in the back, in the front, and off to the side, so that if you're lining things up, you just have a much clearer way of doing that. It's going to interact with you right there on your fabric as well. That is one of my favorite things. So there's the using the new condensed and consolidated stylus, which is super awesome. You're going to be able to interact with that projector on your fabric. Instead of having to look away to your screen, you're going to be able to focus on exactly what you're doing, and your stylus will make adjustments.
I love you. I can see it, Kathryn, as you're, and you know, we all, I always say when I teach, I don't have a lot of time, you know, and I know that I hear that when you retire, you have even less time. That's what I hear. So when I sit down and I want to embroider and I have a couple of hours, I want to have fun. I want my machine to work. I don't want to work.
I already work. I need to play.
You have to stay working with me. And but anyway, you're getting my train of thought off. I want to be successful. And when you're able to really preview or audit your design in 16 different colors now. So it's like a game, it's a game changer. Why? I happen to use my projection a lot on my machine. I know how to use it, but honestly, it's really easy to use. You just touch a button, right? So why would I not use it? But I will say that the fact that now I have 16 different easy to access colors right on my screen so that I can really see what I'm projecting down.
With your fabric choice.
With
So
your
those 16
yes.
colors make a huge difference with whatever color fabric you're using. And you don't have to remember, okay, I got to go to the menu to find the thing, to change the color. It's going to be right there on the screen.
Everything is at your fingertips. And just know that just because, and I shouldn't say just because, I mean, this is a brand spanking new machine. But if you are already a Vision owner or Luminaire, everything that's in that machine is still in this new machine, and the ease of use is still there, and it's got actually easier features and more features. Okay, so we love the new
projector. Is
projector.
amazing.
Let's
Actually,
move
we've
on.
got a little video for that, so let's go ahead and watch it.
There you go.
Isn't that exciting? I find it so very exciting. So right there at the end, it started to show you about a little bit more of the picture play. So let's just jump right into that. This is one of the things that I'm thrilled by, absolutely thrilled by. So with this new machine and the new species that it is, we have just taken a massive leap forward in technology. When it comes to photos and picture play, it is going to be using AI technology so that now it is going to take that picture and then in almost real time, it sends it out of the machine, works in the cloud, and sends it back into the machine. So now you're going to have a whole revolutionary way of dealing with your photos. So when it comes to your photos, you can have your original view, and it'll take your original view up to 9x9, by the way. You can take a photo up to 9x9, and it will take that photo and turn it into stitches. That's your original view. But the AI component comes in with the new Android operating system that it's going to have 10 different styles of working that are like quick mode styles, kind of like filter on your phone when you take pictures with yourself, selfies, or with your friends. So there's like quick new ways of working. One of my favorite ways that I saw was there's a pencil sketch version. So I just think about that video in the 80s, the Take On Me video, where she goes from full color and jumps into that black and white sketch. Oh my gosh, it's just so cool. There's also mosaic and stained glass and geo art. It's just, you are able to pick the filter that you want to artistically work with that photo that you've chosen. It's just incredible.
And of course, you can resize, you can fit to frame, you can remove the background, and again, very easy to use.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're avoiding essentially, or what you're adding, is all this potential to have exciting, being able to photo stitch your pictures, which we get asked a lot with these machines, right?
You mean I can take a photo and digitize
and send it? And it's always of my dog or cat or my granddaughter. So that is very possible now.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so very exciting. Love it. So let's move on. What's coming next? See, we're staying organized.
Keeping on track.
we're keeping on track because we've had a lot of questions about the machines. We want to be able to stay on track and answer those questions, right, as well as we can.
And speaking of questions, the machine actually is going to help answer some of those questions for you just on its own with that voice guidance. So there's a lot of buzz about this. And one of the things I find exciting about it is I had a voice guidance car once. My grandmother gave me her car, and I was driving in the Beltway in Washington, D.C., and all of a sudden the car spoke to me. And what it said was, fuel level is low. I remember panicking. Oh my gosh, I got to find a gas station. This machine has voice guidance. So it's going to say things like bobbin level is low. Oh, where's my bobbin? I got to find a bobbin. So it's going to talk to you about some of these things that you might run up against and alert you so that you can tend to what needs to be taken care of.
Yeah, that's very funny. And of course, we don't know everything it's going to say, but I'm hoping that, for instance, when you're doing the maybe the edge to edge or the sashing, which it's very easy to do your pattern connection, but maybe now it'll say, you know, do not take the fabric out of the hoop, which is one of the things that people do. They think, oh, it's time to rehoop or whatever, and you don't read the screen. Maybe you're excited or whatever, but
it's going to start there. We don't know all that it's going to say, but it's going to help us along the way.
Yes.
That is something we do know, which is going to be incredible for those of us that just need a little extra nudge every now and again. The machine's going to tell us these things now, which is incredible.
And it's going to be in different languages, and you are going to have the option to switch it off if you want. So voice guidance.
Speaking of edge to edge, you just mentioned edge to edge.
Yes.
We've got a video for you guys. Let's watch it. So there's 15 new edge-to-edge designs. So it's going to be a total of 15 new edge-to-edge.
No, there's 5.
5 new ones, 15 total. There used to only be 10. And there's 7 now sashings. So there's 2 new ones within that 7. I just want to review too. I don't think we mentioned there's 5 brand new fonts, which are very fun. They're going to be kind of like celebratory fonts. They have a real happy energy to them. And there's also going to be 3 new micro fonts, which is pretty impressive. It's hard to find small fonts that are going to work well, like on a hanky, like a bridal hanky or things like that. So there's 3 new micro fonts.
So, and I want to just go back to edge a second, because edge to edge is a very important part of sewing, quilting, and embroidery nowadays. We hear it every day in the machine department, right? Edge to edge is the way to go. So because of the new system that this machine uses, and I'm just supposing here, but I'm not the only one supposing. Is that a good word to use? That because of this new operating and really updated Android system, at BabyLock Tech and at every dealer around the country, I think probably every day, people are asking, can I bring in an edge-to-edge design that I purchase online? And you can say something if you want in a second. Can I purchase it and bring it into the machine and have the software read it so that my connection activates? Is that a good way of putting it? And you can't do that. For you to do the step by step, you have to use a built-in design. Now, having said that, if you purchase an edge-to-edge design and you bring it in right now, you activate the pattern connection, but you can certainly use your projector and your scanning to position. So we're all supposing and we're hoping that with this new, you want to say something?
The future is here.
The future
From
is here.
this moment forward, everything is going to be different. So all of those things that we think, I wonder if I can, maybe I might be able to. I have a very strong suspicion that is on. It's starting now.
Possibly, now remember, we're supposing, possibly as an update, that you will be able to connect and therefore expand to no end what we can do with the edge to edge.
These companies are very responsive to us. And when we say to them, hey, we think we want this, they're starting that, to answer what we want.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, Mark and I talked to the Japanese technician when we went to Brother. They're there in force. And you know what? When you think about it, they don't sew, right? Mm-hmm. They need us to tell them what we want. And sometimes they have a good laugh when we say we want this and we want that. And they go, no, not possible. But
now they're starting to say, okay, let's work on it. It's impressive.
Yes. So they do listen. Okay, let's move on. Where are we at, Kathryn?
Let's go on into sewing and quilting. So that kind of wraps up a little bit about the embroidery. Again, if you have questions, be sure and comment so that we can get to those questions as we move towards the end of the presentation. But I want to remind you, if you just tuned in, you have to watch and you have to stay watching because we are doing a live giveaway. You have to be present in order to receive that prize to be drawn. So make sure you comment in the comment section below, #launch_party, all caps, no spaces. #launch_party, all caps, no spaces. Be sure and do that and stay with us. Yes. All right, you want to get into the sewing and quilting?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, to sum up, let's just give you some quick little points and then we'll get into more detail.
Okay, should I start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to share this. Well, we've been sharing all along. We're so excited about all these new features. So it has a newly designed bobbin winder. Yoo-hoo!
It's going to have 14 more meters on that bobbin. So that's extraordinary. It'll let you go longer periods of time between changing your bobbin, which is thrilling.
Yes, and you'll still be able to, if you have, 500 bobbins already, because people always ask us, will I be able to use the bobbins that I already have?
Yes.
So it's still the same bobbin. What the machine is doing is winding more thread on it. So it'd be more like a pre-wound. So that's pretty cool because, we always want more and we want more thread on our bobbin. Okay. So what's
stitch regulation?
Oh my gosh.
we have a lot to talk about that there. So just in brief, there's now going to be built-in stitch regulation with a brand new foot, and we'll get into that in detail in a second. Mm-hmm. This is where both of us are chomping at the bit to talk to you all about that.
So we're trying to cover,
in brief first, and then we'll dive in.
And then we'll dive in. So also the Stitch Vision technology for projecting buttonholes. Now, I've heard a lot about this. I don't do buttonholes. You will now. You will now.
You will now.
Because buttonholes are kind of a pain in the neck to do.
Not anymore.
Even if you're Kathryn, you gotta let me talk. Even if you're, I'm not really a garment sewer, but I'm excited about the buttonholes because I'm going to incorporate them into some of the projects that I'm doing, and I can do it this way or that way.
And efficiently and perfectly.
Okay.
There's also expanded angles with that projector in regards to sewing. There's a whole new level of expanded angles and targets, as it were, on our fabric, which is incredible.
Yes. And we also have 70 square inches of workspace.
14.1 inches from the needle to the throat.
Yes, it's incredible. I mean, you roll up a quilt and you put it in there, you think it's not going to fit, it'll fit.
Absolutely.
I know. Okay. So let's talk about the stitch regulation. I'm not a quilter, but I'm going to use this stitch regulation because I saw it and I thought, oh my God. And I think that I'm not a quilter because whenever I've done free motion quilting, it doesn't look that good. And now I know that it's going to look really good. One of the things that really impressed me when I saw it was the actual, should we call it a foot? I'll call it a foot, right?
Mm-hmm. Because it plugs in.
It plugs into the back of the machine. So the machine obviously knows it's connecting to it. But it's also small and it's so quiet. It's it's small. It's not bulky, big, and clumsy. It's small.
And it's
And
self-contained. It used to
yes,
be with stitch regulation, different machines and different companies work differently, but there would be a little clip-on thing and then a mouse thing, and everyone's trying to talk to each other over a distance. Now that communication is going from foot to fabric, and it is instantaneous.
so it's got the laser in the
Instantaneous.
foot. I don't know how it works. I'm not a technician, but I know I saw it working, and it works really well. So that's really exciting, and the fact that it has 3 different, we'll call them a sole, like kind of like a little sole plate, that come in. You can remove them and put them back in.
Open toe.
Very, very.
There's open toe, there's an echo quilting, and there's a standard one. And with those 3 different soles, there's also the 3 different modes of working. So there's a basting mode now, there's an intermittent mode, and a continuous. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So the basting mode it is what it is. It's just going to be a straight stitch. You can adjust your length of your basting. It was suggested that if you want to baste a quilt together, you could use that water-soluble thread on the top and on the bottom, baste it all together with your stitch regulator, and afterwards it'll just wash out. So that's pretty cool. In the other 2 modes, other than the basting mode, you have the ability to also do a zigzag. And so you can do a straight stitch and zigzag, and so I'm excited about that. I see myself using that.
It's not only for free motion quilting, but it can be used in conjunction with thread painting.
Yes.
Free motion thread painting. So it's not just for quilting a quilt, but with that zigzag mode added, if you go to do some free motion thread painting, the zigzag is there now too, which is pretty cool.
So there, you can also use your projection. You want to talk about that with the stitch regulation?
So with the stitch regulation, you're able to kind of keep track with where you are. There's going to be kind of like a little zone of workspace. So when it's keeping up with you, again, it's happening right there at the needle and foot with a little bit of a work area, so that as you're moving, it stays up with that in the zone, in your yard around your house, as it were. So it's going to stay with you because of those lasers, because of the sensor.
So also that foot is riding and actually touching your fabric. So it's sensing the fabric underneath. And as the back of the foot, or the regulation foot, not the little sole, is actually, it's my understanding it's raised off the fabric a little bit. So as you move backwards, and if you were to run off, so to speak, the fabric where it doesn't sense fabric anymore, now with the projection, it has a line that it projects down, and it'll stop. So when your fabric ends, it stops. And that's pretty cool, because, when you're doing something, when you're really into it, and you all know what I mean, when you're really into something and you're watching what you're doing and enjoying, sometimes you kind of lose track maybe of where you are. So
this
the machine
will
is
keep you in
doing
place.
It'll say, hey, stop.
Yep.
So, and it'll stop.
And on the intermittent mode and continuous mode, I just want to clarify about those 2 things too. So the intermittent mode stops when you stop and starts when you start. And the continuous mode, as you stop the fabric, it kind of like jogs in place.
It keeps jogging, yes.
Just for a couple of stitches until you pick up movement again. So if you need to resituate your hands, it stays with you, and you can just keep on resituate your hands.
Or if you're going into a point, sometimes you don't want it necessarily to stop. If you're going into a point, it'll lock those stitches, and then you can continue.
So cool.
It really, I just love it.
It's also very smooth.
I was talking to some customers this week, and I said, we're all chomping at the bit, but Kathryn and I are chomping even worse.
They had it wasn't where we could totally get our hands on it. It was a little bit away from us. And it was like, the ropes at the Mona Lisa, you just want to touch it and you couldn't. But it was exciting to see it in play. They were demonstrating and we were able to watch. And it just was so smooth. It was just smooth as silk. it was such a vast, again, the future starts now. This has been a massive leap in technology, and it's an entirely different way of working. It's right there, it's right with you, it's staying up with your hands and your body. And like Patty said, I feel like a drunken sailor when I'm free motioning. So this is just going to change everything.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
We actually
And
have a
also,
video.
I didn't mention that you can adjust the height too if you want to do
High loft batting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So let's watch this video. Doesn't that look exciting?
Yes.
I'm just blown away.
Yes. Well, a lot of people asked for stitch regulation,
Mhm.
and Brother listened, and BabyLock listened, and now we have it.
It's
Yay!
extraordinary.
That's a big yay. Okay, let's keep going because there's more.
There's more, but
Okay.
wait, there's more.
And remember that there's so much on this machine that we just can't expand on everything, and we're doing our best. I think we're doing a good job, though. We're keeping on track and covering. And of course, we're going to have education on the machines. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So we now have expanded angles for the guideline marker.
This is in conjunction with the stitch projection. So again, let me reiterate, it projects now behind the needle as well as in front of the needle. So so
it'll project 2 inches behind the needle and 90 millimeters to the front, I think.
Yes. 50 millimeters behind, 90 millimeters in front. And Patty made a comment earlier. It's almost like you don't have to mark your fabric anymore.
Don't have to mark your fabric.
Seriously,
for a lot
it's going to
stuff.
stay right there with you. So with your main lines and your sublines, you've got where you can keep track of where your stitch is actually happening, where the edge of your foot is. Now that is expanded. And now there's even a target. So if I'm doing free motion or working with an echo quilting foot, now there's a target that helps me kind of like stay focused on my bullseye area. It's wonderful.
Well, and so that little icon, if you want to call it that looks like a little target. So when that projects down, it enables you, if you're using your stitch regulator and you have your echo foot on, it's my understanding that now you've got a circle to work around that's projected down on your fabric. So it makes it easier to do your curves. Those of you who are quilters will understand what that means.
Curves and echo quilting.
Yes. So a lot more ability in a nutshell, a lot more ability with this projection to be able to audit on your project, not do any marking. And for those of you who come to the store a lot and see what kind of sewing I do, I've told you, I use my projected grid a lot because I love couching, and we haven't talked about couching at all. But all I do is I draw one line and my projection grid goes on. I size it to the size that I want, and then I just go and I use my projection. I'm not marking my fabric. So now I have even more projection at my fingertips, and I also have 16 colors. So this works. This is a wow.
All kinds of fabric choices. Now you can actually see it on your fabric.
You can see it
Just
clearly.
got new glasses, and now I've got all these colors to choose from to find perfection. And the angles. The
And the
angles. There's an
angles.
expanded angle base as well. So, you've got 30, 45, 60, 90, 120, 135, 150, and -90. What does that mean? It actually is going to go to the right of the needle as well, which is not just to the left from the center and to the left, but off to the right as well. It is extraordinary. So it's going to really keep you in line, literally, with where you need to be.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
Okay.
I have to say that, well, I'm dying to put my hands all over the machine and try everything. But I'm very curious about those angles because, the Solaris, we already have, I believe, the 60-degree angle on there. And you can use that for attaching sashing at the perfect angle without marking. But I'm really curious. I'm going to sit down and really figure this out.
We had an educator say in one of the classes Patty and I were both in, an educator spoke about taking your jelly roll strips, and so that you can perfectly miter one strip onto the previous, your second onto the first one, and use that guideline angle to get your perfect seam there so you can create your own binding. What? Oh, we just can't wait to see it.
I feel like a news reporter. I'm reading.
I know.
I'm reading the news here.
Here's all the news that's new and improved.
Okay. So let's move on now. So the projection, the Stitch Vision technology, you can project stitches, designs.
And edit those stitches right on your fabric.
Yes. And the new and improved stylus is really nice. They needed to do that. Honestly, I can't say it enough that everything that they did and what they've done, I'm very happy with. And they did, it's a lot. I mean,
it's a lot.
Yeah.
There's even going to be a new cubby on the top of the machine for you to keep that stylus right there within arm's reach, literally within arm's reach. So you have access to it.
And there's a good reason for that too. I mean, it's nice to have it up there and have access, but also the holder there's nothing on the end of the machine.
So if you need to recess into your cabinet, it's not going to be something on the side that's in the way. It's right there at arm's reach in the base, in the top of the machine. So cool.
Okay, so we've established that we love
the Stitch Vision technology and the new stylus. It's just wonderful.
Yes. So
actually, I think we have a little video on the projected guidelines. Gabriella, shoot.
Okay.
Exciting, right? Watching it in action again, it's just incredible.
Well, and I'm really glad that we're doing this, and I know that we're talking a lot, but we got a lot to talk about, right? So, and you'll be able to watch this later, right?
We have at the end of that video, I don't know if you were focusing in the end there, but there was a little bitty segment right at the end about the projected buttonholes. Patty, you want to talk about that?
I'm going to talk about the buttonholes. This is like an industry first, projecting buttonholes down onto your project that you're doing. And the first thing that I thought when I saw a video of it is I thought, why is the buttonhole off to the side? I don't know if any of you thought about that, the buttonhole actually projects to the side of the foot, but it's
so that you know where it is.
So
and see what it can look like.
It's so that you can see the buttonhole in case you want to make adjustments, right? So it projects the buttonhole to the left of the foot, so you can see it,
as opposed to under the foot where you couldn't see it. So
right, but it's going to sew it under the foot.
Right, it sews it under the foot, but you can see a real-time lifelike image on the left of what it will be. Not only just one though, but did you see the 3? There's 3 now buttonholes. You can see your previous one that you did, the one you're working on, and the one that's coming up.
So to me, because we all have different takes on it, right? And that's a great observation. To me, if I don't like that buttonhole, it's like projecting an embroidery design down and you think, that doesn't look good on that pocket. I think I'm going to change it, right?
Right.
So you can project a buttonhole down, and if you don't like it, preview another one. But what's also very cool is, again, brother, with this projection feature has taken away the hassle of measuring and placement. It's all done with projection. It's kind of hard sometimes to, and remember, this is an industry first. This is like, wow. It's kind of hard sometimes to visualize how is that going to work exactly without possibly me showing it to you. But you can line up the edge of your fabric. So if you're going to
there's
put
actually
buttonholes
even
on
going to be a projection there to show you where the edge of your cloth
to place, right? And there's actually going to be a double line which your foot is going to sit in. So it's going to be projected. Everything is projected. The back, the front. When you stitch your first buttonhole, you preview it on the side, you like it, everything looks good, it's going to stitch it. And then when you go to space it, you don't need to mark anything. There's going to be features on your screen that you can adjust. So you can
projected to perfection is what it is, essentially.
Yes.
I mean, it makes it absolutely perfect. You can see where you were, where you're going, where you are, the edge of your cloth. We actually have another video that gets it in a little bit more detail. Let's watch.
Yeah, let's watch.
Incredible, right? I mean, it's just really going to give you the precision, a level of precision you've never had before.
I just had the thought that for those of you who say I never do buttonholes, when you get this machine,
you'll be doing them.
You're going to say, you know what
can I do a buttonhole? It's just really,
cool.
really cool.
Yeah. Well, I love that they've done such a broad, right? Broad changes, right?
And it's
right
vertical
across,
and horizontal too. I mean,
yeah, you can do them horizontally too. I forgot to say that.
Yeah, it's just anything you need in terms of your buttonhole positioning, the density of the buttonhole, the length, the width, everything is all right there.
Yeah. Okay, we got to keep going.
Software. Let's talk about the software.
Yes. Okay. So we have the new dual purpose touch pen, which they needed to do that. It's all in one.
All in one. So there's going to be a screw-on protecting tip, which you will take off, and that's where the fine point stylus is. So it's going to have that where it can react right with your screen. And then on the other end of the stylus is the selection light, so that's what allows you to work on your fabric. So one end is for on your fabric, the other end is for on your screen. It's an self-contained unit now, which is incredible.
Well, you can talk a lot about just one pen.
I can. And also, addition to that, there's going to be 6 new fills in
we always want fills.
Creation section of the machine.
And they're very cool. And one of them is actually just like a diagonal straight stitch.
Oh yeah,
is that what you would call that?
Yes.
And when we were with Mike Johns, I think it was him that threw out chenille, and I got to thinking about that, and I thought, boy, that's pretty cool, because it's
just
and maybe
instead
that's
of
why
being
they put
like
it
a diamond or a circle, it's just diagonal slashes that are diagonal, so that you can create your own chenille.
And I'm going to imagine all these fills, of course, whatever fills they add, you're going to be able to edit so one of the things, since we're talking about straight lines,
Mm-hmm.
you can, they've made it so that you can adjust the stitch, the run pitch.
Stitch length.
Stitch length. Run pitch is
Fancy way.
software language for stitch length. That's all it is. So you can adjust the stitch length. I made a note of it here. You can take it from 0.4 to 0.8. So they've doubled the length of the run pitch or stitch length.
Options, yeah.
Yes. I love that.
Love it.
You know what?
If
I
you
don't
go
know
to
why I
create
like long
applique,
stitches.
right? And if you go to create applique, it's, you know, the first stitch that tells you where to put your fabric. It doesn't, it's not a functional stitch. It's just, where do I put my fabric? So now I can have a nice long stitch length there.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a whole new zigzag type as well. So that again, when I'm creating my own applique, I'm able to have a zigzag type of line for raw edge. Even you were mentioning raw edge.
So you may think right away, why did they add a zigzag when I already have a satin stitch in there? Because if you pull up a satin stitch and assign the satin stitch, we're still in the creative section of the machine, is what Kathryn calls it in the IQ. You can adjust your satin stitch, but you can't adjust it enough to make it look like a zigzag. That's why they added it, because people wanted that for applique, because you could start with, you can use it, like you said, just for a raw edge. But as you start to use that stitch, which believe me, you will, and I will too.
It's almost like, for me, it's like a foundational structure.
Yes, you're going to use it more and more. It was it's a basic stitch that was not in there that needed to be in there, and it's in there now.
Allowing you to create more effectively.
Yes.
Speaking of that creation
something
section,
so little, right? We're talking about a zigzag, but they paid attention.
It has impact because it can be used in so many different ways.
Yes.
And in that creation section, one of the things Patty always loves is using her mouse. Well,
yes.
Now what?
Yes. So you can even Bluetooth your mouse, wireless, Bluetooth. And why do I like using a mouse? I like to create on my canvas in my design center, right? You do too. She creates fabulous stuff. All kinds of in the hoop projects.
I just want what I want when I want it. So this is our creation section.
Now you got it. So I like to draw with my mouse on my screen. I like to enlarge, and I'm not sure, it goes up to 1600%.
Yes, you can zoom in up to 1600.
And I don't know if they made that, because there's going to be more than what we already know. I think there's going to be things here and there that we thought, oh, we didn't know that, which is, it's all going to be nice little surprises. But you really are able to grab, when you magnify, you're able to grab almost a pixel.
One pinpoint precision.
Yes, and if you want to erase just, there's just that little hair, that pixel going off, and it'll stitch that if you take it through to embroidery. With a mouse, I can actually just grab that without putting my fingers or a stylus on the screen. So the mouse capability, and also you want to tell about the hovering of the mouse?
So one of the things that we haven't mentioned yet is that with that mouse now, being able to use that mouse either wirelessly or with Bluetooth, is that you can hover over icons, and the icon is going to pop out like a little speech bubble telling you what that icon is. So you're going to have a description. If you're like, oh, I'm scared, should I touch this button? Is this the right button? Well, when you hover over it, it'll tell you what it is before you even click on it, which is massive.
It's massive for those of you who don't touch the buttons. If you have taken a class with either one of us, we'll tell you, touch the buttons.
Your machine isn't going to explode.
It's just going to do, if it's a size window is going to open up. So don't.
And there's that undo button, which you can always undo. But now you don't even have to actually click on it or touch undo. All you have to do is hover, and it'll tell you. I think it's fantastic.
So to me, it says, those of you who are a little bit nervous about that or think, how long is it going to take me to learn all these buttons? Hover. We're going to tell you to
Hover, 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 hover.
And touch. And remember, if you already you're in the Brother or BabyLock line, a lot of ease of use still. They've continued that through the line. So that's wonderful too.
I think we need to talk about some general machine information too, Miss Patty. I think we've covered a lot of this stuff. There's some like basic questions that everybody's asking. Oh, I already have to lug my machine. Is it going to be heavier? Is it going to be heavier?
Only the embroidery arm is going to be heavier.
Not the machine. The machine is the same weight.
Woohoo!
So
yeah, I mean, isn't that crazy? You expect, it's bigger, it's going to be heavier, it's going to be.
It's stronger, it's quieter, it's going to be heavier. Nope.
Now the embroidery arm is heavier because it's a new and improved and reinforced, and they have done so much work on this arm that I am thrilled. As a dealer, I am thrilled because you as a consumer and somebody who is excited and likes to use different hoops, heavy hoops, you want to embroider a heavy project, you're not going to have any trouble with this embroidery arm at all.
With your magnetic hoops, none of it. It's all going to work flawlessly.
And it's going to be supported well with that table
supported
on the
well
back.
with the embroidery extension table, but also there's a cage now around the hoop sensor system. So I used to struggle getting my hoops in sometimes. I might be a little crooked on the way in. Well, I'm a little crooked all the time, but there's a cage now around it, which is going to protect the hoop sensor so that there's never going to be any problems. It's just, they've made it stronger, not only in the workings of around the needle area in the machine, but also in the embroidery arm, which is like Patty said, it's heavier because the embroidery arm is stronger, it's protected, and it's going to totally work with you. So the size of the machine, we've talked about the weight. What about the size? Well, actually, the size of the actual machine itself is not that different. They even told us that it's going to fit in your existing cabinet.
So it's a little wider to the back, but the length of it, if you have a koala, one of the newer koalas or a cabinet that has the extra large opening, the machine will fit in that.
You need a new filler plate, but you don't need a new cabinet.
Right. That's a woohoo also.
Yeah, that's
we have a lot of customers. So if you have a cabinet, you will need to order a new filler plate, obviously, because the workspace, so to speak, is different. Mm-hmm. So what else? So the size of the embroidery unit, we have specs on that. The maximum embroidery area, we talked about
11 5/8 by 18 1/4.
I know. Should we keep saying that?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I think we're kind of like at the end of some of our details. I want to, just before we get into the rest of the new stuff, I just want one more time to reiterate, we are doing our giveaway, but you have to be watching and you have to be live watching, not watching it, hours later or days later. Right now, if you're watching, make sure that you've commented #launch party, all caps, no spaces, in the comment below, because we're going to be giving away a $500 deposit on either the Radiance or the Aveneer. So make sure you #launch party so that you can go ahead and get that. And you have to be present. Stay with us. We're almost done. We have one more thrilling, exciting new machine to talk about.
Yes.
All right, so before we get started, let's just have a little bit of applause. Because the new machine
is the Applaud.
The Applaud.
Yes. And we applauded. And honestly, again, when Kathryn, Annette, and I walked into this room, the BabyLock Tech room, and we saw, I don't know, they must have had 40 applauds out there was just like
silence. It was like entering a church because it was so exciting and mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing.
BabyLock kept this a secret. They really did a good job of keeping it a secret.
We didn't even know it was coming.
We didn't know. No. I just,
So what is it?
We knew they had some new product, but you don't know what you don't know. We thought, oh, they've got new whatever, designs or luggage, but yeah, it was like, oh my God.
So let's go into some of the details about this.
I actually had people text me, Patty, you must be in heaven.
Heaven.
Because I love the euphoria. I love using the cover stitch and chain stitch. And this machine is actually the Applaud. It's called a creative top cover stitch serger because it is a cover stitch machine with the capability, with new technology on top, should we call it technology, of having a foot that drops decorative threads. I know it's hard. We're going to watch a little video, and you may have seen it already, and we'll explain it a little bit. So
it's a dual wiper system is what they're calling it, and it's patented. And actually, Pat said the coolest thing about watching it work is that these wipers live on either side of the foot. There's like little holes and a hole in the front of your foot. So you feed your thread, your decorative thread, in the front of the foot, and then off to your wipers on either side. And then what do your wipers do, Patty?
They hug.
They hug you. So it's as you're serging, as you're doing your cover stitch, they're going to hug and get ready for another one and another hug. So they're sweeping your decorative threads back and forth underneath the foot for you. It's
so essentially
incredible.
They're coming across, and they're dropping the decorative thread over your project, and your needles from your cover stitch, whether you have 3, 2, or 1 needle, is stitching down. It's coming from behind. It's stitching down the decorative thread that is being laid on top of your project. And of course, BabyLock being BabyLock, they've come out. There's going to be new feet for it and new accessories for doing couching. I use the word couching. I guess it could be couching down like cords and ribbons and trims and whatever, so that we can take it to another level.
So there's a bunch of different settings, and we'll go over some of those. But first, I just want to talk. It's got 1,500 stitches per minute, which is strong.
Fast.
Is there tension? Well, it's the same
technology
as on the Euphoria. You have the automatic thread delivery system, so you don't have to deal with
it.
Figuring out your own tension, guessing what should I do? I've got thicker thread now that I'm working with. No, the machine is doing all that calculation for you. So as far as the variety, I'm just going to list these off. So there's a chain stitch, there's a left narrow cover and a right narrow cover, a wide cover and a triple cover. In the chain stitching, there is the top chain cover stitch, triple, wide, left narrow, right narrow, and with both wipers, or you could choose to use either wiper, which is incredibly cool that it's got that. So again, with this dual wiper system and this wide cover, you can see up on your screen there, up on top, the top example is the triple cover with the 2 wipers in action. The next one down is your double cover. So you've got your needle stitches on the left and the right. And again, using both wipers with contrasting thread, which makes it really easy to see. And then there's a cover stitch narrow. There is the 3rd one down. And last but not least on that slide, you can see you've got your chain stitch. So that's going to give you a nice.
And you can also see that on the foot that is exclusively to this machine. It does not work on any other machine. It's got clear markings. The red lines are where your needles are.
So you can keep yourself in line with where you want to lay down your decorative top cover.
Yeah, honestly, it's fabulous. It was very easy to use and a lot of fun. So
BabyLock has given us a video. So let's just watch the video for a second. Take a look at this. Absolutely. Let's have a moment of silence. I just, so for me, I
You are
struggle
funny. Can you
with,
tell how excited?
for me, I always struggle with, okay, do I need this to be form or function? Like I have to choose. To this point, we've had to choose. Do we want it to, are we working on something that just needs to work? Am I just getting the job done? Or do I want to make it pretty? Like you can't do both. Like I haven't been able to do both up till now. Now you have form and function. You can do couture stitches to make something elevated to a whole new level, or you can also do your form. So you can have that cover stitch and you can choose to add the decorative artisan stitches or to have your putting your garment together. That, like, think about the side of leggings or the hem of a skirt. So I've got form and function all in.
And now you have
one
your
machine.
decorative stitch on top, which is
Just
so yeah. So
incredible.
I, as an owner, as a store owner, as I sat in this class listening to Chris Tryon, who's like the queen, she's incredibly knowledgeable, and she has a lot of videos on the BabyLock Sew Ed classes. If you haven't watched her, I strongly recommend that you do, because she's like
clear, concise,
unbelievable. Well,
she's a really good educator.
She helped to develop this. It's
She's right there with the engineers.
Yeah. But let me get back to on track here. I was very impressed as an owner that there's probably 60 or 80 of us sitting in that classroom, and a lot of them are new dealers, and a lot of them I've never used a BabyLock serger. So there's all levels of dealers in there.
Knowledge.
And they ran flawless.
Not one problem.
Flawless.
All 60 of them.
This was perfection. I was like, because I've been in a lot of serger classes where hands are going up and they're like, what, blah, blah, what's the, oh my, it was like, oh my God, but she did a very clear job of explaining, and it's you can see what's happening and you can understand it by looking at it. And of course it's got your air thread, your delivery system, and it's like, what can go wrong?
So I just want to say, I've had my BabyLock serger since 1996, and it is still working flawlessly. I think I need this machine. there is none higher in the serger world in cover stitch than BabyLock. And this machine is yet more proof of that. Now, I just want to say one thing. You were speaking of Chris Tryon being an excellent educator, but I have to say, one of the things that I love about working for the sewing studio is that education is number one for us. You have invested in your future happiness when you purchase a machine from us, and we are going to do our best to invest in you to make sure that you are knowledgeable about this new machine, that it's not a paperweight on your counter for 2 years because you've never touched it. No one showed you how to use it. That's not how we do things here.
Right. It pains me when somebody says, I have a machine and I don't know how to use it. It's like, oh,
what?
golly, yeah.
Why not? Get in here. 3 o'clock tomorrow, I'm open. So, Patty, talk about what we're doing.
So let's talk about education. So we've been, thinking, planning. We hear you, like BabyLock and Brother hears us when we want more, or we want, and the machines are heavy. It's not heavier than your Luminaire Solaris, but they still are heavy. So we are going to do pre-recorded in-depth video tutorials now,
which are only accessed if you purchase the machine from us.
Right. We're going to keep them
We love you, we want you, and we are going to support you. So this support is there for our customers only. So
whether it's the sewing part, the embroidery part, IQ Designer, because we won't be getting the machines in probably until that we start working on them end of November or December. But it's going to be you and me and Tony. And so we're also going to every month do like a 3-hour project-based virtual class. So you can
Via like
learn,
Zoom.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can learn from home.
Continued education.
Yes. We are there to support you. We are there to service your machine, because when you think about it, what are the two most important things that somebody wants when you purchase or invest in a product? You want education and you want service.
Mm-hmm.
And so we feel, I know that we do that very well.
So this is a whole new level for us. So we're going to have the online instruction as well as the Zoom classes. So that's two things, but that's extra. This is a whole new, it's brand new buttercream icing on the cake, which is us. We are still here in the store for you, and we will be providing in-person education as well. So you're not being dumped off on just online education. This is, you get online education now, as well as the Zoom classes, as well as us in person. So it's the best of everything. You've got an awesome machine, you have awesome educators, and you're going to be supported, and you're going to be treated the way you should be treated.
Yes, well said. I have nothing else to add to that, Kathryn.
So actually, I think at this point we need to open it up for questions. If you've been asking questions along the way, Gabriella's been kind of like keeping track of that. So if you've got questions, now's the time to ask. Before I start to answer those questions, so I just, for last and but not least, I want to reiterate one last time, this is our live launch party, and we are going to be giving away a $500 deposit on either the Radiance or the Aveneer. But you have to be watching in order for the little, inner workings of the computer. It's going to see who's watching and pick a winner. And we're going to be able to announce that at the end of this. So be sure you are watching, and be sure you commented in the little comment box down below, #launch_party, all caps, no spaces.
Okay, very good.
All right.
You said that in record time too.
It's the third time I've said it. I hope I have my script down by now.
Okay.
Okay, so questions? Any questions? Okay, we're looking through. We've got a little split screen here. So we have somebody say, are the smaller hoops redesigned too? So the smaller hoops didn't really have problems. The 4x4, the 5x7, the 6x10, the 8x12, the 9.5x14. Those at
I don't
that
think
level
there was
of
any
hoop,
need to redesign those.
they didn't bow, and they because the bed of the machine tended to support the hoops for the larger projects, the smaller hoops were okay. But this larger hoop that needed the support, especially because again, it's 11 5/8 by 18 1/4 now, the larger hoop needed a rework. So now it's going to have this new structure.
Yes.
Okay, let's see if we've got another question. When can we see it in person? Patty, you've mentioned this once, but let's say it out loud again.
We're hoping that we are receiving them the end of November. We're hoping. I say that because they are not going to ship. BabyLock and Brother are not going to ship until they're perfect. This is out of the engineer's mouth. They are not going to ship it. It's a completely new system. They are checking, double checking, triple checking, and they will not ship.
Testing. So once they have it perfect, they're going to present it to us like a gift, and we will have it probably November, mid-November.
I'm hoping end of November, beginning of December.
So that's when we're going to be able to see it. Okay, Miss Gabriella, do you see any other questions? We were able to see the new designs.
We must have done such a good job. We hardly have any questions. Were you able to, what was Monica?
New designs.
Oh.
Again, the machine was kind of kept separate from our person because we would have put our grubby little fingers all over it. So we weren't really able to go in and see a lot of the new designs.
But I think that on one of the BabyLock or Brother videos, now remember the difference, there's a difference between the two machines, and that's always the embroidery designs.
What's built in?
What's built in with the embroidery designs with Aveneer having the
built-in Disney.
Built-in Disney, thank you. And so they've also added, we didn't really touch on the embroidery designs, but they've added more of the large pattern connect ones.
Oh my gosh, they're absolutely stunning.
They are stunning. So we saw the ones stitched up or embroidered at BabyLock Tech, and it was like, oh my God. And that there's a monogram in there. Did we talk about the sizing of the font up to 4 inches?
No. So in the fonts, what we really did get to see is the 5 new fonts and the 3 little mini micro fonts. But with the fonts, regular fonts, there is you
have the ability now to put the size in, and it's not just large, medium, and small with a font. You have points, and it's my understanding that it'll take almost any font that's built into the machine, and it'll size it up to 4 inches, whereas before it was up to about just under 2 inches or 1.5 inches.
And if you wanted anything bigger,
first you set the size you want first, and then you bring in your letters and it sizes them to that size.
And if you wanted bigger, you had to go to like the monogramming fonts. You couldn't use your regular fonts.
So now your fonts are like monograms. That's really cool.
It's very cool.
That is really, really nice. And the fact that you can preview the whole font, the preview page.
So Patty's saying you can preview the font. So if I was to go online and I was to purchase a font pack from a company, there is generally an icon that will show you what the uppercase A, lowercase a, uppercase B, lowercase b, the whole font, the punctuation, etc. So you can preview your font bundle before you buy it. Well, now there's a font preview, like you can preview your font bundle before you pick that font. So like I've got the letter K, Kathryn. So at the top of my name, sometimes K's look funky in some of the fonts. And I'm like, ooh, I love Atheryn, but that K, whew, I'm not sure about it. So now you can preview your font bundle before you even select that font in one picture page.
That's really nice.
It's wonderful.
Again, to me, that's a game changer because it's saving me a lot of time. I don't have to keep going back. And if I want a 2.5 inch font, I'm going to put it at 2.5 inch. I bring in my letters, and that's a really good size. So you're almost bordering into monograms with all those fonts. And then the built-in monograms, that one is beautiful.
Yeah, speaking of built-in monograms, there are brand new built-in monograms that are just really large. And again, now with the designing creation section of the machine, you're going to be able to create your own applique even out of some of these larger monograms. It's really, really, truly incredible what they've done within the designs that are built in within the machine.
We should get back to the questions.
I hear a question. I just heard another question pop in. Miss Gabriella, can I still use my hoops? Yes. So this is, can I use my
Destiny? From
my Destiny, from other machines. It's not just your Destiny, your hoops, your feet, on the Radiance and on the Aveneer, it's all your bobbins. It's all interchangeable. You're able to use.
If you've bought or purchased any optional hoops to your machine,
even magnetic hoops outside of the brand.
Now, what we ask is if you decide you want to trade it in, because of course we are taking trade-ins, that you trade in the hoops that came with the machine. But if you bought the magnetic hoops or any other sizes, you know,
keep them.
They will work.
They will work on the new machine.
Yeah, so that's a huge plus. Okay, what else?
So the limited editions are kind of gone at this point.
Well, you know, we keep talking about that. The Brother and BabyLock allotted every dealer a certain amount of limited editions, and we have deposits on a lot of machines. However, we also know that it's a $500 refundable deposit, and maybe somebody will say, you know, I have a deposit on the Aveneer, but I've changed my mind. Say I want the Radiance, and that's fine. You can do that. So we're allotting the machines as the customers put deposits.
When you got in line, you're in line in that position.
In that position, yes. I think that's clear. Okay,
Mhm.
next question.
Does the pen and screen work more smoothly?
So I didn't get a chance to try it, but I'm assuming that yes.
Because it's a whole new operating system.
It's a whole new system.
Because it's now an Android operating system, the way the screen is working in conjunction with that pen is brand new. So we're very excited to see it. We didn't get to actually use it, but it's a whole new operating system. And again, it was a leap forward in technology. So we can't wait to actually get our hands on it. They had been telling us it will be smoother. It won't be, it's just going to work with your motion a little bit more smoothly, is how the educator said it to me. Does the embroidery unit fit in the koala slide side?
No.
It's
So
bigger.
the embroidery arm is big. It's so when it's just not. It's bigger. So I'm sorry about that, but you're gonna have to put it somewhere else. But you'll be okay with
Or
that.
never take it off the machine ever, because it's awesome.
So no, but that actually is a good question. I had written down some of the questions that I thought might be asked of us, and I didn't think about that. So
we had another question. Does this machine replace my Triumph? So no, this is a decorative double cover machine, cover exclusively. It is not a serger cover combo. So
it would be an addition to your sewing room, in that on the Applaud, they have this patented foot and other feet that are gonna, we didn't talk about, but they do have more feet that are going to be available for it. So it's a patented foot to that machine, and it's basically like the Euphoria. It's the Euphoria with revisions and changes in the mechanics of how the foot works in conjunction with the top of the machine, so that the wipers open and close.
It's actually an integrated foot system. So you've got the sole of the foot and then the ankle that holds that foot on, and it's all one piece now, which is again making it stronger, allowing you to really have access to perfectly managing your decorative threads. So can I take, when it comes to the accessories and feet on the new Applaud, can I take my previous feet from my Euphoria or from my Triumph and use them on the Applaud? Yes, a lot of the feet go up, but the brand new foot, and there's actually 3 feet that are brand new and exclusive for the Applaud, those can't go away. They only stay with the Applaud. So you can't take them off the Applaud and use them elsewhere, because again, they're a whole new foot system. It's an integrated foot system. So are there any other questions? When will the Applaud be available for sale?
So the Applaud, I believe, has shipped. Yes.
Very soon and very soon.
We got a shipment yesterday, but the Applaud wasn't in it. I was sad because I thought maybe I could show it today, but I'm hoping we'll have it next week. So
will there be updates to the Aveneer like there was with the Luminaire? So one of my favorite things about BabyLock and Brother, there are other brands out there. Obviously, we all know that. And one of the ways that the other companies work is every 2 years, as technology progresses forward, here's a whole brand new machine. And it's twice as much as the last one you just bought. Oh, wait, here's 2 more years. Here's a whole new machine, twice as much as the last one you bought. So what BabyLock and Brother do is they try and carry you for as long as they can. So there will be upgrades as you go along the way. Upgrades are adding new features. And as this AI technology and as the Android system comes into play, they're going to be having that kind of support for you, just like they've always had.
Yes, well said.
We have had questions about price, and because we're doing this live, we can't talk to you about price. You have to call.
Yes.
And you have to come in and visit us, because we like to see your pretty shiny faces.
Call us. We're here to help you, and we can certainly share a lot of information over the phone with you.
One thing we can talk about is the bundles that we are offering. Ms. Pat, you want to talk about that?
Sure. Okay. So do we have a slide on that, Gabriella? Yeah. I couldn't remember. So with the Radiance bundles, for the limited edition, you get the, do I have the list here?
So
I'll go by the picture. You get Remember, this is for the limited edition. You get the dust cover.
Mm-hmm.
You get a magnetic hoop. You get the thread chest. So that white chest that you see there is full of thread. A slim line lamp, which I love those slim lines. You can attach it to your cabinet. You get a package of pre-cut stabilizer it's my understanding that it's cut to the size of the large hoop. You get, we haven't talked about this at all, the design studio, those two little pictures in front of the dust cover.
It's the design suite.
The design suite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said design center. So the design suite is something that BabyLock puts out exclusively. And what they are fills and motifs. When I say motif, it's an area fill and a line motif that can be added and brought into your design section of your machine, and it can be either brand. It'll work on either brand. So Mike Johns and Patty Marty Mike Johns is an expert digitizer.
Mm-hmm.
So they started this a while back, probably about a year and a half ago, and some of you may not be aware of it. We do carry them. They keep putting out new collections by new designers. So if you purchase one of them, it's a USB stick in a package, and you would take that and insert it into your USB port and pull in the new fills through your design center, and then you can edit it and digitize it. And so what they've done with the Radiance
on this limited edition, there's going to be 4 exclusive design suite collections for the limited edition Radiance bundle. And then as far as the regular bundle is concerned, for once the limited edition is out, it's not like it's a whole different machine for the beyond the limited edition. It's still that machine, but there are some slight differences in the bundle. So there is a dust cover.
So what they've done is they've taken away, and they've changed the dust cover, but they've taken away the design suites, which are exclusive to the limited edition.
Only one.
They have one. And by the way, the limited edition design suites will not be available to purchase afterwards as a collection. It's just exclusive for the limited edition. So with the bundle for the one that's not limited edition, they've taken away one of those, but they've left the dust cover, the magnetic frame, the thread chest, one of the design suites, and also they're including their own education. I wish I had
so they have an exclusive education package,
and
there's going to be a Radiance community, which is going to be, they're going to have access for you for that as well.
Yeah,
and again, we're getting more details on this. We don't have all the details yet. We don't even have the product in our hand. So BabyLock will have their exclusive education like they've always had.
Yeah, we're all working on that, on thinking, okay, how are we going to support and educate you? And of course, Brother's going to have their version, BabyLock, and then us. So there will be plenty of support.
Speaking of Brother, let's talk about the bundles that the sewing studio is doing for Brother, which I think is fantastic. This bundle. Do you want to talk about it?
So the luggage is going to come with the Aveneer. Yes.
Luggage
and then
is going
the
to
thread
come.
box. Do we have a slide
yes,
on
right
that?
there.
Okay. And this is for the limited edition. It's the BES Silver Edition, and then more designs, and then Angela Wolf's classes.
So that, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're including that for the limited edition, aren't we?
Yes.
Exciting for everybody.
No
one's left out.
My brain's getting tired.
No one's left
with
out.
All this information.
I want to check real quick, Miss Gabriella. Were there any more questions?
So we do have another couple of questions. Don't forget to call us if you're interested. We will be getting these machines in. Give us a call at 407-831-6488.
Mm-hmm. Make sure and give us a call. You can visit us online. You can come in to the sewing studio at Lady Lake, the sewing studio fabric superstore here in Maitland, either location. We're on the web, www.sewing.net. We're going to be there for you. And I've had someone say, can I use the new stitch regulation foot on my older machine? No. This is, again, a whole new species. So the new stitch regulation foot is only going to work on the Radiance or the Aveneer because of the AI operating system, the Android operating system, and that it's like real time directly under the needle and the foot. So we can't go backwards with that. We can only go
and
forwards.
I do want to say something about the bundles. These bundles are while supplies last. It's on the limited edition, and on the next one, it's going to be while supplies last. It's not going to be, you know, constant bundles. It never is.
So somebody said, what feet come with it? Well, it's going to be your standard feet, your J foot, your M plus foot, your overcasting foot, your I foot. There's 18 feet. There's going to be 18 feet that come with it. Well, what about the dual foot? Yes, the dual foot is coming with it. So you've got your, you know, essentially your multifunction foot control is still there. I don't think I see, do I have to
Okay,
download?
so there's a comment there that said, it seems odd that there would be a new, can you just back it down a little bit? That you can still use the old hoops on a new operating system, but the support, just to reinforce what you said before, the section of the arm that you slide your machine in that locks is essentially the same, but it's reinforced inside. And so you won't have any trouble with a heavier, but it's the same system. I mean, to me, I love that they did that, but it's like a courtesy to everybody who's invested in hoops. Yeah.
That those hoops still work. Does the facade of the machine differ between the limited and regular? Yes. So the face of the machine is different in the way that it looks between the limited edition that's going to even say, I believe it's got an emblem that says limited edition versus the regular one. However, the colors are slightly different on the brother.
On the brother, the colors is different. And also the limited edition has like the fancy frill, like the Luminaire has. You know how it has those flowers engraved on top? It's got some kind of like a lacy Mickey design.
So that would be more of like an external feature versus what's really in. Yeah, so be sure and call us. We cannot wait to help you invest in your future happiness, to help you invest in the happiness of those around you, because frankly, half of what you make is for other people anyway. The joy in making it is what's for you. So we're thrilled to help you with that. Let's see.
Do we have any more? No. Okay. So
Gabriella says it's time for the giveaway. Okay, everyone, get ready. We're going to click on our draw button here. So here we go. It's flipping through some names. Woo. Judith Welch. Well, congratulations. Congratulations, Miss Judith Welch. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for taking part in it. We are so excited for you. Your deposit is going to be paid for by the Sewing Studio Fabric Superstore. Thank you so much. We appreciate you all watching.
Thank you.
So that's going to wrap it up.
This is really, really exciting. I hope you're all.
We're here to answer your questions.
As excited as we are to get our hands on these machines.
And here's our bow on top. We're pretty much wrapped up and done. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye.